Call of Duty just announced some huge updates coming to Season 2. First things first is some updates to crashes and stability. They kind of here just to summarize, talk about how they're fixing stability, being able to stay connected to servers, not, dev error so much, not have those pesky problems when you're trying to go on your nuke runs. After that, they announced some global updates, kind of fixing, what direction you're hearing footsteps through, what kind of texture it comes through. It talks about occlusion and stuff like that, which is where sound comes through a wall or sound comes through certain objects. And apparently they're having a bug with sound coming through certain items and making it sound all distorted and not correct. After that, they're doing some UI updates, which I think we can all be pretty thankful for. They're going to be fixing the camo menu, making it run a little more seamless, a little more smooth. Make things in the battle pass flow a little better when you unlock them, make it where you can equip them a little easier. More bug fixes, improved clarity of attachment, blocking logic in the gunsmith, reticle previews in the store and gunsmith, which I think we're all pretty thankful for too, because they're leave a little to be desired in that whole segment. The bundle screen showing kind of what you owe and things like that. Fixing things like the after action report, play again feature in Warzone, inconsistencies it says right here between the challengers, battle pass, and weapon progression. Kind of to be expected, weapon balancing, which that's pretty given as far as Call of Duty goes. There's always in season, right when a season drops and during the mid-season update, huge changes. We've seen like DMR meta in previous iterations. M4 kind of being nerfed a little bit, the 74U and Vaznev being nerfed a little bit already, things like that. Some of the biggest things coming, though, are fixes to the Gulag in Warzone. They're going back to the 1v1 overtime system, meaning, the capture the flag once it's a certain amount of time instead of the 2v2 with the jailer. Kind of sad to see it go, but I don't think it worked as well as people thought because you kind of get those teammates that kind of just don't do shit. So I think this is kind of a good change going back to the 1v1. In the gulag, they'll also be fixing things like weapons, find what you find on the ground, money, stuff like that in the gulag. So if you win your ghoulie, you can get out, redeploy, and actually be able to have some shit to get back into it. Other thing we're pretty thankful for is them fixing the cash economy, making it where money's more readily available and things in the store a little less expensive, because it's brutal right now trying to find money to get your gun or buy UAVs, stuff like that. It is insane. Not saying it needs to revert to Warzone 1, but I think having a happy middle ground would be good because I think they turned it up a bit much. Another huge thing coming, which I think some people will be thankful for, and I think some people would be sad to see the old system go, maybe. But loot, when you kill somebody, when you open a chest, it'll pinata loot like it used to in Warzone 1. I think for the speed and momentum of Warzone, this is really good. Being able to run over and quick loot ammo and quick loot plates and everything. I think that's a fantastic fix. I think the backpack system works. But I think in a DMZ type game mode, it would work much better where the point is to loot. I feel like Warzone, the point is to survive, shoot, and kill, win, right? Whereas in DMZ, I feel like you're a little more motivated to loot. Huge thing coming is loadout fix. Now it'll drop 2 times per game, once round 1, once round 5. That's absolutely massive. You'll be able to buy loadout markers and stuff again, absolutely massive. They're going to be a little more expensive than they were. Supposed to vary, I guess, per how big your squad is, which I think is also a super huge fix, making where, a quad isn't going to be able to buy it just as quick, because they're 4 people deep and get it load out super fast. So I think that's a good addition, good change of pace. All players will now start with a 3-plate vest versus starting with I think it was a 2-plate vest, and being able to rack in the third once you find the 3rd plate vest, just automatically starting with the 3-plate vest, also similar to Warzone 1, I think is huge too. Makes it where, if you're already struggling, you already can only find a pistol, at least you can put in a 3rd plate, be able to increase your chances of survival. I'm sure the movement kings out here will be pretty stoked for this, being able to make it where you can run through doors and stuff while plating, and also make it where you're maybe not sprinting, but you are moving quicker, so you can relocate yourself a little better in a firefight, meaning you can, hopefully get out a little faster, get out, replate up, get back into the fight. Another cool addition will be buy stations, making them a little more prevalent, a little more, all over the place. Loadout markers and everything, having an unlimited stock, like it says right here. Things like that I think was super cool, kind of speed the pace. Limited loadout markers. I think the limited UAVs was cool. Thing they did. I think maybe make it where it's not just 1, maybe make it 3. I think could be kind of cool, so they can't just be spammed if you're absolutely rolling in cash. Unlimited loadout markers I feel like it's okay because they're supposed to be expensive. So if they're expensive, hopefully You don't run into the case of that happening as often. It doesn't talk about a whole ton here with strongholds, but it does say they're going to kind of be revamping strongholds with the loot system and all that. So that'll be really, really interesting as well to see kind of what they do there. DMZ is also getting a lot of love here. It looks like enemy tuning, kind of adjusting how difficult they are. Because let's be honest, those AIs were better than most people playing the game, so that's probably good. It says fixing some of the spawn points, which would be good because sometimes you spawn in the middle of nowhere, and other times it feels like you spawn right on like an AI or another enemy team, which I get is kind of like the point of the infill, but like right off the rip, being two teams on top of each other, kind of causes a little bit of a problem. Also says mission tuning difficulty for faction missions and stuff like that. Kind of tune it down, make it a little easier. I think that could be a good update. I don't have a ton of time in DMZ, so I can't specifically talk on that, but I think this could be a good fix. We love to see some crash support because especially with a game mode where you're going in with weapons you had out of your vault and stuff like that. You don't want to get in there, crash, and lose your gun because that's absolutely the worst. Also says new missions and stuff coming in season 2, which I think could be good to keep the game mode fresh. Because if you're max everything out in a week, then it's like, well, shit, what do you do now? I think that's kind of a good change. Hopefully they don't reset it and then it be nothing. Like be not the same as season 1. Hopefully it stays consistent season to season with the difficulty of the missions. Also says a new exclusion zone coming to season 2. Players will have a third option to choose from when deploying in DMZ. So I think that's pretty cool too. More locations, more maps, things like that. Because they got DMZ, they have Building 21, and then they're adding something new. I think that's all super cool. See, this is where our specialty a little more is multiplayer. Specialty is a strong word. So here's where they talk what I was kind of talking about earlier. They fix some of the occlusion stuff with like footsteps going through like a pile of rags, making it sound like he's through a wall, like stuff like that. Will be pretty cool. Also says they're doing a lot with perk balancing. That'll be pretty good. Reducing the bonus perk cost by 50%, the ultimate by 25%. I think will make things like Ghost being an ultimate a little better. You're getting it, not halfway through the game, stuff like that. I think it's kind of overall a good update because I feel like I don't want to play a whole game just to get one perk, So I think that's a good change as well. Now, it doesn't affect me as much now because I'm done with that portion of my Orion grind. But hardcore is coming back instead of tier 1, which I think is great because tier 1 just felt like a robbery of what we used to have in hardcore. I don't like hardcore that much anyways, but for doing things like long shots, headshots, stuff like that, it is nice to be able to have hardcore. And tier 1 was just, I don't know, it just felt like you expected one thing and got another, and I think that was kind of whack. Obviously, a Valentine's Day playlist update, we're used to those. I guess, I think that this one's kind of cool. 1 week per month, Infinity Ward will be creating a Twitter poll for fans to vote on one of that week's playlists from a rotating pool. I think that's also pretty cool because we can get Shoot the Ship or Shipment 24/7, things like that a little more often. I think that's really, really cool, really innovative and interactive with the community. We are finally getting a ranked play for whatever reason. It takes so long every year. I don't know, but finally getting a ranked play for people that want to sweat and pub stomp and stuff. I think that'll be good to make regular multiplayer maybe a little less sweaty, hopefully. So people just trying to casually play, I think hopefully we can have a little bit of a separation between those. I think that'll be really cool. It's about the end of the blog post, but it does say looking ahead, kind of just discussing how on February 8th they're going to be showing a little more about the season 2 coming. Supposed to come out February 15th, so I think this will be a good mix to kind of figure out where we're at, what we're doing, what to be expected. Because here they talk about some fixes they're doing, not the theme of it or anything, which I think is really cool. We're kind of have an idea of big problems being fixed. Once we get closer, we'll see what's being added, and we can get a little more hyped up and excited for that. Beyond what this obviously brought to us excitement wise.